right, good morning and welcome to the second day in the life of Dr. Mercola. So the first thing I do is wake up. As we're recording this, it's very close to the summer solstice, so it's pretty light outside. Normally when I get up, it's dark. But the first thing I do is turn on the lights. Now we have some recording lights on, but now you can notice that light up there is an incandescent light bulb. These are sunflower seed sprouts. You're going to see in different stages. This is just about ready to be harvested. This was soaked last night in a soaking container. So it's just about ready to go to the next phase, which is to rinse it. I'll rinse it just like this a few times a day until you see little sprouts in there and you have a little start to germinate a bit. Then you'll put it in one of these and then put a tile on it with some rocks to keep some pressure for about 3 days, and then it starts to grow really well. So my phone is back in airplane mode, which it will be for the rest of the day. But not only is it in airplane mode, it's also going to be in this Faraday bag, which is made of silver fabric, forms a Faraday cage. You put it in here and you flip it on itself. There's nothing that comes out of that. Now we transition from doing the morning breathing exercises outside, looking at the sunset or sunrise, to going to where I spend a lot of the day, in my office, which is a standing desk, clearly, sometimes, and it has the option of going down, so like this, if I wanted to sit down, but most of the time it's up. And then I just go through my emails. I'll spend about a half hour here before I go upstairs. So this is the next step, and then we're going to go upstairs in a few minutes. We're up in my gym now. We're going to start an important part of the day, which is the exercise. And this happens, I don't work out this hard every day, but I'm going to show you what I do on my heavy days. So part of it is multitasking. So I typically have I have a wired connection here. So this is an Ethernet cable. My notebook is up here. I plug it into an Ethernet adapter. Then I normally listen to videos, which I'm not going to be listening to this morning. But so this is the area which I'm going to do my work. So the first step is stretching, and then we're going to go into some more aggressive exercises. So I start out with, the chiropractic profession is fond of saying the motion is the lotion. It's seeking to integrate a whole variety of different movements into your body so that you don't become stiff and you don't develop arthritic changes in your body. So the first one I'm going to do is called a windmill. All right, now we're stretched and ready to go into the next phase, which is a form of exercise I'm really excited about. It's called blood flow restriction therapy. And what is blood flow restriction training? It's essentially this novel biohack where you're putting bands on your upper or lower extremities, not at the same time, and you inflate this cuff, which creates pressure that reduces the blood flow back to the heart. So when you're engaging in the exercise, these metabolic byproducts build up and they cause enormous benefits. Essentially, it's creating an environment that is relatively low in oxygen or hypoxic. So you're decreasing the oxygen flow in your muscles, and the result of that, these slow twitch muscle fibers which require oxygen essentially fatigue out real quickly. And the only way that you can move the muscle is to engage the fast twitch fibers. And that is really why it works so well. And now that I've really worked hard, as you can testify to, I'm going to go into the sauna. Okay, getting ready to go into the sauna. As you know, ideally sauna you got no clothes on, so I'm going to take these off when I get in it. But then I'll be coming out in 20, and then we're going to go to the pool. So I'll see you. That's the morning workout. So now I hang up the sweat rags for towels, and then we get ready to show you my supplements. Apple cider vinegar, biosil, which is orthosilicic acid. This is my supplement drawer that I created and put it right next to a little tray where I count the supplements out. This is lumbrokinase, and I kind of alternate between that and serapeptidase. I like my vitamin B complex. B12, I love our B12. Our folate, and I take B6 too. I take my vitamin K2, and then I take our zinc complex. Then I take a beta glucan, then rhodiola, and iodine, which I love. Ashwagandha, complete restore, which I like. Saccharomyces boulardii, which is yeast. Full spectrum enzyme. My liver complex, spiridine, MSM, hemp oil, but it has CBD in it. Quercetin. The catechins I only take once a week. Phosphatidylserine just got pushed back in the wrong position. Salmon oil. Pomegranate peel extract. Then photamine, or biquinol. Complete probiotics. It's almost a meal in itself. My morning supplements are the biggest. So I go to my refill drawer. You can see that here's the folate, and I have 3 folates in here. So I need to get this, and I put it over here, and that means it's refill. Minerals are typically interesting because as supplements, they're neither fat soluble or water soluble. They're neither, because they're just minerals. They're soluble in both, I would think. But I'll take the magnesium and put them in here. I take them in the mornings. But like the B vitamins, they're all water soluble. So that's why typically water soluble supplements tend not to last as long. And you can take them any time. Fat soluble supplements tend to hang around longer. Fat soluble supplements are obviously absorbable in fat. So good. So, I'm getting ready to go to the beach. Now I'm going to have my second hydrogen, but these nanobubbles allow pressure differentials to make a significant change, and they have literally up to 10 times the amount of hydrogen in the water. And I like it because I like to take it before I go to the beach. The hydrogen actually, believe it or not, helps recover from the oxidative stress of the exercise. There's 2 bars I like, which is the Pure Power Mix bar, and then the cassava bar, which is like a candy bar almost. But and sometimes when I'm like on heavy workout days, I'll do a cassava bar, but other days it's the Mix bar, which is really good. Okay, so that is the time, and I am thirsty, so stop this, and I get to drink the hydrogen water all at once. Here's another one I take before I go out. Is fermented chlorella. Again, our plastic bottle, now we have it in a glass bottle. I just throw a bunch in my hand, whatever it is, about 50 or so. This is a food. This is an algae, microalgae. And it's probably the highest density of chlorophyll of any food out there. So I just chew them. As soon as I finish this, we're going to go to the beach. All right, so you can see we just got to the beach. Beach is really flat today, which is not unusual. You kind of expect that in
We're in the middle of summer, just past the summer solstice, which is the longest day of the year. And if this was the winter, we'd have 3, 5, 6, even 10-foot waves, but not so much in the summer. But you can see that the beaches, this is like really one of the best beaches in the world to walk in, because the sand is really nice. And I don't know if you noticed, but I have not been wearing shoes all day, and you will not see me with shoes today. And guess what? This is a typical day. I will not wear shoes unless I have to go to a grocery store or something where it's prohibited by law not to walk in with shoes. The reason we're out here without a shirt and with shorts is to absorb as much of the sunlight as you can. And part of the reason of that is that the sun is full of very beneficial radiation. Not only is there UVB, which converts to in your skin to vitamin D, but we also get the near infrared, which is the same frequencies that was in my sauna, the near infrared. 40% of the sunlight is near infrared, and that goes and recharges your mitochondria through a process called photobiomodulation. And really, maybe every bit as important as the UVB. But the reason that a lot of people make a mistake too of not walking, that couple didn't, they were doing the right thing. They were walking without shoes in the water. This is the optimal form of grounding. Now when I'm going to do this walk, and normally I'm not talking into a camera, I'm reading, I'll talk about that in a moment. But this, with my feet almost continually submerged in the water, gets me about the best grounding you could possibly want on this planet. It really is almost ideal, because the ocean is a massive sink of electrical current, so it is the best possible ground. And it's far better when you're walking on the sand, because the sand is relatively dry, there's no water. One of the reasons I like Kindle so much is that I can store a lot of books on here. Not only books, so you don't have to buy a book from Amazon to store it on here. What a lot of people don't realize is you can store pretty much any electronic book in here, because they give you the option to email it to your account. So not only books, but PDF. When you read this, the Kindle gives you the opportunity to highlight things, which I'll talk about in a moment. But because it only weighs, it's less than a pound, you can store thousands of books on this thing. My goal is to read about 150 books a year, and I've radically dropped down probably to about 50 books a year now. And that's mostly because I'm reading studies. I really migrated to reading the original literature rather than books, which are mostly summaries. So I'm liking that a lot. Got to do the basics right. And what are the basics? Clean water, and the water I drink in my house goes through a whole house water filter. So you've got to filter it. You got to have clean water. You got to sleep well. Sleep is one of the most underappreciated characteristics of a healthy lifestyle. You want to go to, ideally, you want to optimize it with your circadian rhythm. So you're going to sleep ideally when the sun sets and getting up when the sun rises. You got to exercise. Exercise is key. But before the exercise is the diet. You've got to get the diet right. And it is so important. What people don't realize is not so much the foods. When do I have carbs? When do I not have carbs? I mean, yes, you want to. We've been writing about how to eat healthy for 20 years, and I know there's a lot of controversy about that, whether you're a vegetarian, a vegan, or a carnivore. But in some ways, it's kind of a mood issue. The biggest issue that almost everyone tends to address and fails or ignores and fails to address is the timing of your food. So this is why time-restricted eating is so important, which is sometimes called intermittent fasting, but not necessarily the most accurate description, because a fast is really with going without food for more than 24 hours. But time-restricted eating, and my window used to be 4 hours or 6 hours. Now I got it down to 4 hours. So I typically eat from 10 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon. Now, not all the time. I'm not obsessive about it, but that's kind of my goal. If I go to 5 or 6 hours, it's not the end of the world. But that means that's the time where I'm giving my body nutrients, and I'm activating mTOR, which is not anything to be afraid of. A lot of people were, including me, which is why I'm so jazzed about blood flow restricted training, because it's such a powerful tool to build your muscle strength and mass, even when you get older, and especially if you give yourself enough protein. So you have to activate mTOR. The key is that you don't want to activate it all the time. And you activate all the time when you're eating all day long, like most people do. Most people are eating 16 hours a day. I mean, 90% of people eat more than 12 hours a day. And most people, I say the majority of people, are eating closer to 16 hours a day. I mean, the only time they're not eating is when they're sleeping, which is an absolute prescription for disaster. So the first thing is to compress your eating window. You don't have to go down to 4 hours, but I think certainly 8 is the bare minimum. I'm 65 now, and I don't have a pain anywhere in my body. I don't have a major restriction of motion, of movement that I can think of. And you're designed to enjoy life. Now that wouldn't be possible. It typically isn't. Many people are 65 not too long ago, a generation or two ago, and maybe ready to retire, and that's it. They're out. But no, you should be able to live to 90 to 100 to have the full capacity you've had as an adult, as a younger adult. Now, you're not going to run as fast, you're not going to be able to be as strong and lift as much, but you should have most of that capacity, and you shouldn't have any pain. And I think it's possible. So you don't have to want to live to be 180, 150, 120, but you should be able to live whatever length of time you're going to live with your full vital capacity to be able to enjoy everything. So that you can come on the beach and you can enjoy this. I mean, just get the suns. And I mean, not only are we getting the grounding I talked about earlier, but we're getting the negative ions from the ocean. We're getting the beauty of nature. It's just magnificent, and it's just really feeds your body, feeds your mind. It's a great thing. So, and I think you need to get in nature regularly as part of a healthy strategy. And so you have to figure it out yourself, whatever your circumstances are. But hopefully, this video will inspire people to understand that what's possible, and then just to kind of restructure your life so that you can move into things that that it's going to feed you and your family in healthier ways, and you don't have to struggle with health issues. Now it's time for dessert. And yes, folks, this is my highlight of the day, the time I get to fully play, go in the ocean, relax, and get maximum grounding, because we're getting grounding by doing this, but we get maximum grounding with our full body submerged in the ocean. So we're going to do that now. Okay, water feels so good. Oh, actually, that's a nice wave. Woo, that's a nice wave. I love it. Oh, it's great. You gotta take advantage of it when it comes. When the good waves come, you take advantage of it. It's like there is no one here. Woo! Woo! Never turn your back on the ocean. Oh, it's just so good. I literally could stay here for hours. I really could. Oh, it's like you're a kid again. Just do what you really like and go to the beach. So.
Okay, so we're back from the beach and lunchtime. The primary component of lunch is ground beef. We get them on our site from Thousand Hills. It's 100% grass-fed. And then for me, I cut it into, I weigh it into thirds. I divide it into three, and it's 150 grams. And I cook each one up in a small frying pan. You can see the sprouts that I put in there as a main source of greens. But we add some organic red peppers, organic cabbage, ideally red, but they were out of that, so we have green organic cabbage. Organic cabbage, sprouts, red peppers, and the green pepper. These are biodynamic organic olives. They're called Mata pitted olives. And there's one last thing I put in here. They use nori sheets, which is a type of seaweed that they use to roll up sushi with. Essentially, I cut it up with a fork and knife, and I put a lot of nice, good Himalayan salt on it, or Celtic sea salt. I think that's it. So we're going to go next to look at the regenerative agriculture section that we've got on the other side of the house. Now we are going to my regenerative agriculture section.
Will open to a larger cage that'll keep the chickens in a certain area.
Yeah.
That's so they can learn to return here at night. Once we get that down, then they will eventually have the run of the yard.
This piece of equipment is something called OsteoStrong, and it was developed by a guy named John Jaquish, and it's specifically designed to improve, just like it sounds, to improve your bone density, make your bone strong. It's only a 15-second exercise, so literally it's 1 minute of exercise a week. Okay, not as good, but good enough.
What I will do, this is the photon beam, and it's completely EMF free, it's shielded. And what I will do is I will put it about 2 feet away from my head,
And I will treat my head at night with photobiomodulation for about 10 minutes. And it just goes to the top of my head, because this is a part that's not really easily treated in the sauna. This is a down pillow. This is the one I sleep on. I will go like this, put it into my head, and I will go down, and it totally cradles my head. And most people, and I'm certainly one of them, will have a problem with mouth breathing or snoring. So the simple thing you can do, I just have a little bit of paper tape, I put this over my lips. So it's impossible to mouth breathe with this on your lips. Well, I hope you enjoyed this day in the life video, and that gave you some ideas, some concepts, some possibilities that you can use and integrate into your life. Certainly it's not meant as something you should pattern after exactly, but you know, just give you some concepts, some clues as to what you might be able to do to improve your own health. And you know, this is my journey. This is what many people have asked to see. You know, what am I doing to improve my health? And I thought you would enjoy seeing that and be sharing it with you. So really appreciate the time and energy you spent watching this, and time to get to bed now. So, and recharge and repair. So I'm looking forward to that. Good night.